Hello and welcome to today's video. Heat pump for £150? Sounds a bit too good to be true. Sounds a bit bonkers really. Well, as it turns out, I've been researching heat pumps for a little bit now, and I've noticed that the prices do vary wildly. One example of an online quote I got via Geek was 6,600, which, although it would be a first-class system, and they do guarantee a certain level of efficiency, which is fantastic, it would be still quite a slow return on investment and probably a bit out of my price range at the moment. I had a few others. One in particular has caught my eye because, and apologies if I seem a little smug in this video, it is a genuine quote which ended up at around £150, and that was following a 2-hour heat loss survey from a respectable company. So let's dig a bit more into that. With the Cosy 6, Octopus set out to create a higher temperature heat pump which is suitable for more homes. Most heat pumps typically run most efficiently around 40 degrees, and there's lots of fantastic models which can do that and do it well. But they do come with requirements of good insulation, potentially thicker piping, oversized radiators, and that can reduce the widespread appeal, make them a little bit more difficult to install. Now the Cosy from Octopus has been designed to run at 50 degrees, which is a slightly higher temperature. Not quite what you'd normally find on a gas boiler, but somewhere in between that and a regular heat pump, which does make installations a lot simpler. So things like having to replace piping and things like that, they don't necessarily have to do these. Obviously, simpler installations means it's cheaper, as labour is quite expensive. So overall, it gives the Cosy 6 a wider spread appeal. Now the base price for the Cosy 6 is £8,000. That includes heat loss and home design survey, which is you've got to pay £200 refundable deposit for that. Then you've got obviously the installation of the Cosy unit itself, which includes standard plumbing components, including outdoor piping, that sort of thing, the standard electrical work, hot water cylinder upgrades, some radiator swaps, though crucially not designer radiators, removal of the existing gas boiler, the MCS certificate, and the bus grant, which is what makes the price go down from 8,000 to 7,500. Of course, in that price range, there are things that they wouldn't supply. So, pipe work for any rooms that don't currently have radiators, that would cost extra. If there's a structural assessment needed for, let's say, a much larger water cylinder or a new location for a water cylinder to be put, that could cost extra. Of course, if you want designer radiators, it's not something that they would supply. They only supply the standard ones, and then. If there's any specific upgrades where the customer wanted a certain room to be massively warmer than the others, so the MCS spec would normally be between 18 and 22 degrees, but if you wanted a room which was, say, design spec to be 25 for a particular reason, that would likely cost extra as well. And finally, any kind of groundwork like trenches for outdoor pipes, if the heat pump was a long way away from the property, that's something that wouldn't be covered either. So how do we get from 8,000 down to something much more affordable then? So first off, a big chunk of this is down to the boiler upgrade scheme. That's something the government have been running in order to help people achieve the purchase of heat pumps, knowing that they are expensive and much better for the environment. But of course, that big price is a big barrier to entry. That's a good chunk of it. Then Octopus were happy to reduce that further with what they call a simple install discount. So I was very fortunate in my instance. No planning permission was required because it passed the sound checks. There was no need for additional electronics work because we already have a 100 amp fuse, so it's well set up for the heat pump already, and only a straight swap of the 180 litre water tank was needed, so no structural survey needed on that. And the final £100 reduction was thanks to a fellow YouTuber, EV Nick, who covers, as you might guess, electric vehicles and also heat pumps. In his case, he got a Cosy 6, and he's made some quality videos talking about them, so I'd very much encourage you to check it out. But because he managed to have a referral code, that's £100 for anyone buying one and himself, which could bring the total down to £150. So sadly, this won't be the case for everyone. Everyone's homes are very different. In my case, I was fortunate enough to have a new build with good insulation. I was expecting personally the £500 target to be quite ambitious, and I was expecting maybe a few more complications. But I actually consider myself very fortunate, and probably not the typical scenario, but it goes to show that it's possible that there are some good deals on heat pumps out there if you continue looking. On to financial implications then. So if I was to get a heat pump, I could save £115 a year on the gas standing charge. Because I don't have any other gas appliances, I could get that capped off. Then there's the electricity price itself. So I'm currently on the EV Go octopus tariff, which has an off-peak electricity price of 8.5 pence, which is only slightly more than the equivalent gas price. Now, I think I could actually achieve probably about 99 or more percent of my usage from the heat pump to come from this off-peak electricity, and that's because I have 27 kilowatts of storage, and obviously there's solar during the day as well. With a level of efficiency of 320%, that would give us 86 or so kilowatts of output, which is more than enough to last during a day. So I don't think we'd ever really have to delve into peak time electricity usage. So when you work things out in a cost per amount of heat output perspective, this is how it looks. Much better than the gas boiler would be. Obviously, this graph takes efficiency into account, assuming a 90% efficiency of the gas boiler and 320% for the heat pump. But as you can see, it's just under half the cost. So over the course of a year, that would be a decent saving. Without going too deep into that, it's pretty safe to say that at this price, it would pay for itself in under a year. There are some downsides of the Cosy versus other heat pumps. So the efficiency is quoted as between 320 and 340%, which is, although decent, it's not as high as what you can get from some of the other models. Some of those can function pretty close to around about 400. Also, the appearance, it's kind of personal preference. I've heard some people say it looks like a McDonald's car park bin and things like that. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that myself personally. So I'm in two minds about the appearance. I never really had a problem with the kind of rectangular, almost industrial-looking standard appearance that heat pumps tend to come in. But so, in summary, £150 is a genuine quote for a Cosy 6. Well, what do you think? Is it a no-brainer? Are there any other alternatives I should be exploring? Leave a comment and let me know. That's it for now, and thank you very much for watching.